What's up, G Fusion fans? This is Philip, and welcome back to another Kamen Rider Revice video. Now, before I begin, there will be a lot of spoilers for Kamen Rider Revice episode 25 because we are going into more detail about the Igarashi family. So, in this episode, we actually find out the truth about the Igarashi siblings and their father. Their mom is their mom, but there really has been something going on, especially with Genta in these past few episodes. So, with Kamen Rider Revice episode 25, we finally found out what happened. So, again, before I continue on with this video, I would like to warn you guys that there will be spoilers. So, I do I am going to ask everyone to watch the episode first before continuing with this video. Otherwise, enjoy. All right. So now, with that said, I am not going to, accept probably, not really, but you don't have the right to complain about spoilers because I already warned you. But okay, now let's actually talk about what happened. Now, this is going to be focused on the Igarashis, of course, and there are other things that have happened, but again, we're going to focus on the Igarashis, especially Genta and the Igarashi siblings, so Iki, Daiji, and Sakura. Now, with that said, let's go. So everything started actually 30 years ago, and it was actually under Masumi Karizaki's, control, I guess, or under his supervision, rather. So apparently, he is kind of responsible for the Igarashis being able to transform into Kamen Riders. But yeah, we're going to get into that for in a little while. So one day, 30 years ago, a young man was brought into uh, Masumi's laboratory, I guess, or he probably was already probably was a doctor, or he was already experimenting on the GIF Vice stamp, I guess. So this was already into his research with GIF, right? So one day, a young man was brought him unconscious, probably even on the brink of death. Yes, this man would turn out to be Genta Igarashi. Apparently, though, he actually went by a different name, so the Igarashi name probably isn't even real. Now, we'll get to that in the future, but let's say that, of course, it's Genta for now. So, Genta became a guinea pig for Masumi's research. There is a reason that he is heartless. Literally, like he doesn't have a heart. In the previous episode, episode 24, we see George and Genta in the bath. So we do see a cut on, or a scar on Genta's chest, close to the heart, right? And a few episodes back, there is a revelation that Genta had no heart. I actually mentioned this in my Genta Igarashi theory video, which is going to be down in the description, so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about right now. So it all connects to this episode. So yeah, one day Genta was brought into Masumi's laboratory, and he was experimented on. So he basically became the first Kamen Rider, or at least in this universe. So he became Kamen Rider Vail, Bile, I guess, for some people. I'm not really sure if it's Bale, Vale, or Bile, or I'm not entirely sure about that because I really haven't seen the official romanization of the name for Kamen Rider Bale. So let's just call him Kamen Rider Bale. Bale, like Christian Bale, I guess. But anyways, let's go for that. Let's go with calling him Bale for now. So Kamen Rider Bale, right? Now we do also see that in this episode, Genta transforms into Kamen Rider Bale with basically a recolored version of the Demon's Driver. So with that said, because Kamen Rider Bale became the prototype rider, let's say, for all the riders to follow, of course, such as, Revice, uh, and probably by extension Vice, uh, Live slash Evil, uh, Jan, and probably even Demons. So with that said, right, so Genta uses a recolored version of the Demon's Driver, and well, he transforms into Kamen Rider Bale. So let's talk about the Kamen Rider Bale's design for a minute because it's interesting. You can see that he is inspired by a kabuto, or a Japanese rhinoceros beetle, and you can see that actually his kabuto design. So on his right shoulder is actually the wings and the torso, and then going to the side, it's actually the head, so like facing sideways. So very nice choice. And another interesting thing about the Kamen Rider Bale is that his suit, right? His bodysuit is like a loose cloth, rather than like a kind of a body tight suit that you might see on someone like Revi, or basically the other riders. And it's similar in concept to the Riot Troopers in Kamen Rider Kabuto, or if you want an actual Kamen Rider that's basically similar in design, you get Kamen Rider Yongo from the movie. Yeah, Kamen Rider Yongo, I guess. So we do see that kind of similarity in design. So he has like a looser bodysuit, and well, he does have armor, like on the chest, of course. The gloves are actually armored, and the boots are armored. Although, again, his bodysuit kind of evokes the Showa era in a way. So before, like, tighter bodysuits were used. But again, it's an interesting design choice. But going back to Genta, so again, he was experimented on by Masumi Karizaki, and he became Kamen Rider Bale. So how did this happen? Now, we don't really see how it was, but it in fact Masumi was just narrating it to Mr. Ushijima. So he, so Masumi Karizaki was able to extract some DNA from the gift statue and inserted it into Genta, basically reviving him. So we could say that uh, they took Genta's heart, placed it into the statue. So it's, I think it's now confirmed that the heart, the human heart inside the gift statue is actually Genta's. I mean, we already kind of see it coming. The revelation before that Genta has no heart, but the gift statue does. I mean, it's already a giveaway at that point, really. It's no longer a spoiler because we already have seen it before. So, with that said, for however Masumi was able to extract DNA into, or from GIF rather, and then transplanting it into Genta. So this is how he was able to transform into Kamen Rider Bale. Let's go. Okay, I'll stick with Bale for now. So with that said, maybe sometime later, uh, Genta was kind of able to control himself, I guess, using Bale, and we probably forgot about, or he probably forgot about it in some reason. Nonetheless, Genta was able to live a normal life and start a family, and probably discarding his old name and going by the name Genta Igarashi. So this is how the Igarashi family came to be, of course, with uh, the Igarashi children born sometime after. Now, with that said, George actually knew about this experiment. Now, either Masumi had told him at some point when he was young, I guess. So we do see a childhood backstory, or like a flashback to George's childhood and Masumi talking to him. So Masumi either told him or he found out in some way. So with Gift's DNA running through Genta's veins, George reveals that Ikki, Daiji, and Sakura are, in a way, children of Gift. You didn't hear that from me. It came straight from George's mouth. That Ikki, Daiji, and Sakura are basically Gift's children. What a twist! So, this actually now makes sense why the Igarashi siblings can transform into Kamen Riders without problems, and why they do have demons inside them that are unique from, let's say, the demons that are produced by the by the Vice stamps, the GIF monsters that we have seen so far. And definitely they're different from the Giftarians, which actually use the GIF Vice stamp. So yeah, we now understand why the Igarashi siblings' demons are unique. So Ikki has Vice, Daiji has Kagero, and Sakura has Love Cove, and they, of course, manifest in different ways. So again, they are different from all the Deadmans that we have seen in the past. It is because they are directly descended from Gif. And this also explains why someone like Hiromi, uh, who doesn't really have a demon. I mean, we saw the Tyrannosaurus dead man come out from him, and it was destroyed in episode 1. So how was he still able to use the demon's driver? So that explains the difference between the Igarashi siblings and everyone else. Now, let's actually move on to the demon's driver, which I have just mentioned. So, in previous episodes, we have learned that there is, in fact, a demon that is residing inside the demon's driver. So, uh, instead of a demon residing inside the user's body, again, similar to the Igarashi siblings. So at this point, right, at that point when Hiromi uh, transformed into Kamen Rider demons, the basically the demon that was inside him has already been destroyed. However, in exchange for that power, in order to transform into Kamen Rider demons, the demon basically eats away his life force, which is why his body deteriorates so quickly, especially after every battle. So that is what happened. So now that Kamen Rider Vail is unleashed, or this happened in the previous episode. So Ortega currently has the possession, or currently is in possession of the demon's driver. He asked George forcefully to unlock the true potential of the driver, which George actually does. Not because he wants to help Ortega or not because he wants to survive, but because he really wants to see what the demon's driver can do at its maximum potential. What this does, however, is basically set Bale free. And we see that the demon's driver has a will of its own, and at its full potential, or when it's completely unlocked and unleashed, it can actually just go teleport to whoever is actually his master, or who he is contracted to. And that's what happens today. And the demon's driver teleports to Genta. Well, we do not actually see Genta actually getting the Bale driver, I guess, because really it's a different belt technically at this point. But yeah, we do see Kamen Rider Bale return. Technically, he returns. So Genta also returns to being Kamen Rider Bale. And we actually see a flashback of Ikki's childhood. What happened? So this is definitely going to be in the spoilerific territory. So I will warn you guys again, heavy spoilers. So make sure you watch the show before continuing with the rest of this video. Otherwise, enjoy. So, in Ikki's flashback, we see him as a child in their home in flames. Standing in front of him is his father, Genta. And Genta, at that point, was struggling for control of his own body. Because at that point, Bale is going berserk. The house may be in flames and in shambles because Bale went out of control and knocking out also uh, Fumie, I believe. So knocking out the mother, right? So she was she we see her unconscious, uh, probably because Iki was much younger than the childhood Iki that we see before in Daiji's flashback. So it's a slightly older young Iki, and if I am not mistaken, so she probably was actually pregnant with Daiji at that time. Again, this may be just me looking at things not clearly because we only see Iki and his mother, no one else. So, again, at that point, she probably was pregnant with Daiji. And Iki sees his father lose control of himself, although he tries and warns Iki, telling him to run. But at this point, something is triggered within Iki. Vice is born. Now, uh, we already know that Vice appears in front of Iki. Yes, uh, how they usually interact, sure. But this is where, or this is when Iki and Vice actually first meet. So, again, the gift genes that are inside Iki are triggered. And this is how. Is this a JoJo reference? I mean, it just hit me. When so okay, let's go to Stardust Crusaders for a bit. So when Dio awakened, right, uh from his almost 100 years of slumber, take note that he was already using Jonathan Joestar's body. And when he awakened from his slumber, the other members or the other descendants of the Joestar clan, who were, of course, alive at that point, so uh, uh, Joseph, Holly, and Jotaro, and actually at that point also Josuke, he was already born or he was already a young boy apparently when uh, Dio came about. So when Dio uh, rose again, everyone's stand was activated. I'm not sure if this was an intentional reference, but this kind of happens to Ikki, right? Because of one of his relatives triggering, or activating a demon, in this case, Genta and Bale. So Ikki also triggers Vice, or rather, Vice is awakened within Ikki. So this is when they actually first meet. And apparently, Ikki has this kind of uh, memory blocked in his mind for several years, but today it comes all back to him. So that's what happened. So, what is going to happen in the future? How is this going to affect the family, right? Is Genta going to prevail against his own demons, or is he going to destroy his family? Are the children going to find a way to bring their father back, or are they going to have to destroy him in order to protect the world? So, those are things that we have to look out for in future episodes. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like, comment. So tell us what you think about this video. What you think about Kamen Rider Vail, not Kamen Rider Vice, although. So tell us what you think of Kamen Rider Vail, Genta, or if you have your own theories on how the Igarashi family can get through with this, or how they're going to surpass this trial in their lives. And of course, don't forget to share this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get the latest from GE Fusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.